Hi, classes. What's going on? This is Coach Smith here, and I am going over our counting atoms assignment for the week of November 30th through December 4th. And so we have 3 weeks left of school, and this assignment is designed to give us some review on counting atoms, but also to give you guys an opportunity to visually see where each of these atoms are that we're counting. So we've talked about a four-step method to use to count atoms. You can start with the capital letters that you find in our compounds, and then you use the subscripts, which are the small numbers next to those letters. And then we multiply our subscripts or our numbers outside of the parentheses. That's our third step. And so we only multiply those numbers by what is inside of the parentheses, because uh, parentheses are like packages, right? And so everything inside is multiplied because we have multiples of that. And then fourth is to multiply by the coefficient, and you multiply everything by that coefficient, all of the totals that you have so far. So those are our 4 steps to counting atoms that we've taught. And now we're going to be applying that to this PHET lab so we can actually see it in action, right? So your link to the lab is here in the instructions, and then you can follow those 3 steps. It says, after finding the simulation, select multiple and use it to construct each of the following number of compounds for each collection. Make sure at the bottom of each set, you place a screenshot of your simulation showing how you correctly constructed each of the compounds. And actually, I'm going to try to show you how to use that picture to get the pictures that you put in your table that we make. After completing one set, move on to the next set of compounds to produce. You may use a crop screenshot as your picture, the structures. If you have trouble cropping it, you can always, like we did before, Google the structure, but make sure you have enough pictures of that, because we're no longer dealing with one compound. We are now dealing with multiple compounds. So that's going to be shown in our picture. All of the atoms could be counted physically by looking at the picture we put in there. And then this video will be here where it says PHET Lab tutorial after we finish filming it, in case you need it later on. So I have 4 compounds here, and I'm going to go to the PHET Lab here. So here we go, PHET Lab. And I'm going to move my face way over this way. And so when we go to collection 1, I clicked on multiple, and this is what I got, right? And so this is collection 1, and you can scroll between our molecules that we can use to build any of these compounds by using these arrows. And also, if let's say I have O2, and I haven't scrolled, but I just want to use this, and I'm out of oxygen here, this fill the bucket button, if you click it, it'll fill that back up. So I can now make another compound of O2. And boom. So when it says 2O2, that is what we're making, right? We made O2, but we had 2 molecules of it. So I can actually count the number of atoms from the picture, which is not really what we're teaching. We're teaching you how to read this from the formula, but using the picture can help you understand how this all works. And that's kind of the hope, is to help you make sense of what we're actually teaching you. So I could actually count 1, 2, 3, 4. And if I want to, I can go to my document and I can figure that out before I even build it. And so building is supposed to take place after you do the work of knowing how many atoms are in each compound. So I've used some color coding here that I use in some of my classes. And so basically, these are just to help us with our steps. We start with black is our capital letters. So we have C and O, and that's carbon and oxygen, right? And so those are the types of elements I have. And then how many of each element? Well, I have 1 carbon to start with, 1. And then I have 2 oxygen to start with, right? 2. But I have a coefficient. So I'm going to actually multiply 1 times 2 and 2 times 2. And that's going to give me my totals. So that is 2. And this is 3, right? And in some of my other videos that I've made, I've actually used color coding. You don't have to do this, but I'm going to for these examples that I do in the video just to help. So that 2 is representing the red 2 that we're dealing with here. And this 2 here for oxygen is dealing with the blue 2 that we have here, right? Okay, so that's where all that comes from. And 2 times 2 is not 3, by the way. It is 4. Right. So then we can say, what is the total number of atoms used? And that's where we're going to add them. So we got 2 plus 4, 6. Right. And then I'd have a picture here. Right. So now I can actually go to build a molecule and I can find, okay, well, that's 2 CO2. Okay, here's carbon, here's oxygen. So let's build CO2. I have a carbon and I have 2 oxygen. Right. Gosh, that's crazy. Okay, so I built this wrong. So if something like this happens to you while you're building, this blue button here will break the molecule apart. So now it breaks it apart. Now I can use those pieces and build whatever I need to. So if you ever have that issue, that blue button there, that will break the molecule apart. And now you can move those things back where you need to. So we have CO2, 1 carbon, 2 oxygen, right? And so that can go in there. And when I look at this 1 carbon, 2 oxygen, that's my original molecule. And so that's what I'm going to use to build CO2. And then now I take this single carbon, and then oxygen here, it's carbon dioxide. And then I'm going to put it in here. It's going to ding, which is really nice. And I can actually look at this picture now and I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, total of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, oxygen, 1, 2, carbon. And if I go back, I can use my picture to check my work. So 1, 2 carbon, 4 oxygen, 6 total. So that's correct, right? And then I can move on through these. So we're going to do the first 4 as a class. These are actually pretty basic, to be honest. They're really simple. But they should show you kind of the expectation and how to use the PHET model. And then I can kind of show you how to do it with collection 2. However, your collection will be different each time after that first group, just like last time. So the first 4 will be the same for everybody. But after that, you're going to have random molecules that you're building, and you're using our steps and practicing building these so we can actually visually see and count the parts of a whole here. So right now we have oxygen, and so I'm going to go back here, and we built that already. So I can go in here and I can actually say, well, I have 2 oxygen to start, and then I'm going to multiply that by 2, and that's going to give me 4 oxygen. And then I have, so then my total is 4 because there's nothing else, just oxygen there, right? And so we'll scroll down here. Now this says I have 4 molecules of H2. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to find a bunch of hydrogen. This is a good one here. Kind of wish I could just dump all of these out like marbles or Legos or toys and to just put them together after the fact, right? But however you want to do this, I'm making H2, lots of them, okay? And so this says I have 4 of them. So to go with kind of what does that 4 represent? Well, it means how many of these compounds do I have? Well, I have 1 H2, I have 2 H2s, I have 3 H2s, I have 4 H2s. And that is what that 4 represents, the number of molecules that I actually have. So now I can actually go, I should have done this before, right? But I have H2, so that's 2 hydrogen. And then I'm going to multiply by 4 because I have those 4 molecules. And so I'm going to have 8 here. And so my total is 8. And then when I look 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 hydrogen. So then our last one here is going to be nitrogen and hydrogen. I'm just going to fill this up so I have all these hydrogens to work with. And then I'm going to go, let's go back here. I have 1 nitrogen, and I have a 3. That's that next to the H, there's a 3. So let's go ahead and make that blue so we know what it represents. And I'll go back in and make this blue as well so we know what it represents. And let's do the same here too, right? Because we want some consistency here so we know where we get those numbers from. Okay, so I have 1 nitrogen and 3 hydrogen, and then this 2 here is telling me, oh no, like I have 2 of those molecules. So I now have to multiply by the number 2 to represent the amount of molecules that I have, right? So 3, oh, that's blue. I didn't want it to be blue. There it was, okay. 3, and then obviously right here, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna multiply by 2, voila, not 3, 2. And then I'm gonna get some answers here, right? So 1 times 2 equals 2, and 3 times 2 equals 6. And so my total is 2 plus 6, or 8. And let's go build our molecules to check our answers, right? So I'm going to go do that. I have 1 nitrogen, 1, 2, 3 hydrogens. And so that's 1 ammonia. And then I'm going to make it 1 more here. 1, 2, 3, 4 atoms. Molecule. It's going to ding. I finished my collection. And so where this is completed, now what one of those things I want to do is I want to, well, I got to get this off of here so I can do my job here. But I want to take a screenshot of this, right? So I'm going to click down here in the options. I'm going to go screenshot. Okay, and what it did is it downloaded this for me on my computer down here. And then, so for you guys, that's going to be a little bit different. It'll download it, but you can still use that picture however you need to. And so I'm going to now take this and I'm going to go to my document here, and where it says below, put the screenshot, I'm going to put it there. Now, this is not that important. So if you have problems with it, don't worry about it, but you do need to find a way to do pictures. And so this is an easy way to do that. If I go here and I click, sorry, let me move my head because, whoa, maybe that was kind of fast. I'm kind of fast like that. So I want to go to insert, and then I'm going to say insert image, and I'm going to upload from my computer. So you can insert an image from your drive, which is probably what's going to happen with your Chromebook is this will be saved into your drive, or you can put it in your drive. Sorry, got to stay hydrated. But I'm going to use build a molecule screenshot, open, and it's going to open that picture. So now I have that picture here. Well, I can actually double click the picture, and that will let me crop parts of it. So that's what this is all about. And so this, if I double click that picture, then I can actually crop, which means I can oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Well, let's go undo on that. Okay, and then let's go. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. So what you can do here is you can actually zoom in, and you can crop out, like for example, I can crop this, and I can click on it, and I can say copy, and then I can let that stay there, and I can go up here, and now I can go and click paste, and it'll paste the picture of the 2 CO2 molecules in, right? And then it's really simple, like I can go here. I don't know if I can uncrop it or not, but you can crop those images out basically by using that tool. Now I might have to reinsert my image each time and crop those out, which if you're okay with it, you can do that. But I can also, if I didn't want to do that, if that was kind of a lot for me, I mean, I know that's a good picture. You know, I kind of make it bigger and I can see it really well, just like I saw. You can also just look up oxygen. So, for example, I can go insert and I can say image and I can like search the web. So let's just search the web and I'm going to move my head real quick so we can see the options. And I'm going to just search for images. I can just put O2. Oh, that didn't work. Let's do 0, 2. O2. And if you do Lewis structure, let's say O2 molecule. Oh, there we go. So I have like these pictures of O2. Well, let's do this one. That's fine. And I can insert. And I mean, it's a little big, so I'm going to insert it. Then what's going to happen is I'm going to shrink this down, and for a good reason, because reality is, hey, how many O2s do I have? Well, I have 2 of them. So I really need to take this, and I would copy it, and I'm going to actually insert it again. So I'm going to hit Control V, and now I have here are my 2 O2 molecules, which that's not O2. That's actually CO2. So I need to make sure that that's going to show like it does in our PHET lab. So make sure when you search a molecule on the web that you actually get what you're looking for. That's why I would say use the cropping feature if you can. I'm not as good at it as possible. I think there's a way to crop pieces out but keep your original picture. And so, you know, another thing you can do is you can just make 5 copies of the same picture and then crop each one into what you want. And put them in these blanks. So I do want a picture there if possible. Again, you can use the web. It's not a problem if you use the web, but make sure that the picture you're using is actually O2 because that's not O2. And you get a whole bunch of other pictures that aren't necessarily what you're looking for. So maybe I can say oxygen molecule. Okay, so there I get 2 right there. This is just oxygen. So now this is what I really wanted, and I can say insert. Okay, and it's huge, which is not a problem. You can just click on it and you can shrink it down to whatever size you need. Now it fits in there. Okay, and so then now I can click on it, and then I can copy it, and I can paste it in. So then I got CO2 picture from the screenshot. These are from the web. Now I can get down here. I'm going to use the web because it actually is easier, at least for me, it seems that way. But for some of you, whatever makes you comfortable, I'm going to go again, search for the web. And then instead of oxygen molecule, I'm going to put hydrogen molecule. None of these are a hydrogen molecule. So that's a little bit rough because as a chemistry teacher, I know what these look like. And none of these are hydrogen. So that's a little frustrating. But let's see if there's a simple, what if I just said H2? No, it's a Hummer 2. I don't want a Hummer 2. I wonder if I could copy and paste. Copy. Let's try to put that, let's try to paste that in here. Nope, that didn't do it. So subscripts won't work in here, so it might be kind of challenging. That might be why it is easier to crop. So we'll say hydrogen molecule, or I could say this, and this is, you're just saying this because I'm actually going to finish this for you guys. Molecular hydrogen. If I click that, you know, goodness, I still don't get a lot of good options from the web. So let's say hydrogen gas, and then I get pictures of gas, not the molecule. So that's really challenging. It's frustrating, big time. So I'm gonna try one more time. Hydrogen. Let's try Lewis structure. Okay, so I don't have, these aren't really great. I'd rather have ball, like the circular picture that we saw, which are like this, where there's two balls together that are the same, that would represent hydrogen. But I'm going to go ahead and, for the sake of time, I'm just going to use this, which is okay. It's not really a molecule, which is frustrating. But that's not even where I wanted it. So I will cut that, and I'm going to put it here. This is actually a totally different structure, so I would say, like, don't use this. Looks like what you're really going to want to do is actually crop out your pictures. But, and you can use the web, like you can Google it, which might be a lot easier. So if I just go hydrogen molecule, and if I Google it and I go, yeah, it's really accessible. So if I go images on Google and not through the site, it's not hard to find. So this would be it right here. Hydrogen. I would use this. So you could just copy this image here, go into the PHET lab. I'm going to completely replace these because they're poopy. So and then I'm going to shrink them because they're massive, right? Boom. And let's maybe shrink this guy down too. Boom. Okay, I would love to have them the same size. That's good. Okay, so there we go. So obviously, if you want to search the web, what we found out in this video is I would actually use Google to do that. And I know a lot of you successfully did this in our previous assignment. But then last thing is we would do that same thing. It'd be 2 in, I don't know why that H3 disappeared on me, but it did. So let's make sure that it's still there when I get done here. Fix that to 3. All right, and then I can go, I'm going to go here. I'm going to go ammonia molecule. And there we go. So I have a picture of it. I'm going to use this one. Copy the image. And we'll go to the PHET lab here. And now I can copy paste. Make it a little smaller. And next to it, copy paste. And obviously make it smaller. And there we go. So that's it. That would be the first collection right there. Boom, boom, boom. So you can take these. Now, when you go and do your second collection, so let's go to build a molecule here. Again, I did it. It said congratulations, and I click on next collection. So now this will be random. So everybody's going to get different compounds here, but you're going to build it the same way. Now, I suggest that you would, if you can highlight that. But, if you can't do the subscripts, sometimes it's kind of a pain to type it in. If you have the numbers there, I'm not going to judge you on that. But you do need to type in what your molecules are, just like they are previously. And then you'll build these just like you did before. So we're going to count. Like if I want to do, this doesn't have any oxygen, so I'm not going to do, well, this does. So I'm going to do H2O2. Then I'll put 2 H's, Well, let's try this. There, H2O2. Bing. Then I'm going to fill this up, and I'm going to do it again. So H and O. Bing. my bad. It only said 1. That's why it already dinged. So yeah, well, I'll go through this. So here's H2S. So 1, 2 H's, an S. So I want to break that apart so I can put this on here and put this on here. So I need 3 of those. So you would just continue to build these, and then once you get the ding, you can again come down here, the 3 dots, click, you'll take a screenshot, and you can crop the parts out, or you can type this in and literally search the molecule and put it in there. So hopefully this isn't too crazy for you guys, and you can use what you've learned to finish this. Instead of 5 collections, we're doing 4, and obviously I just did the first one for you. So 25% of your assignment is now finished. Go ahead and please use what you learned to finish this up. We have a quiz later this week, so make sure that you complete this assignment as a part of practice and study, and then we'll review before we take our quiz, which seems like it will be on Thursday. But good luck, and I hope you guys do well.